Welcome to the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise. Here on Island City, where the beach meets the streets, where we will be featuring brother Brad Dalton, stand up 808, and shout out to Idaho, where he is the best-selling author of DNA of a Winner and the Best Self podcast, which is in over 50 plus countries worldwide. Tune in, but until then, don't move the dial, don't switch the station. Because now a word from our sponsors.
Malolele. My name is Viliamitu Ibai, and I'm here today to share what it is that we do as a family, as an active family, that both of our kids this fall are participating both in 2 sports, and how vital and important it was for my wife and I, Nurse Martha, who is a professional in the medical industry, that we all are vaccinated, and also that our son, who is now eligible for vaccination, will be vaccinated as well. That is what we're doing as a family. Thank you so much for your attention. So do all you can with social distancing. Wear a mask where you can and where it is that's demanded and safe for us, and wash your hands. And lastly, get vaccinated.
Welcome to the Coach V Show, your Hollywood radio show for personal development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life. Bringing to you and for your consideration into the deployment into your life, leadership, and business success frameworks, behavioral models, and life lessons that, should you feel that there is some value and juice for you there, that you deploy it all over what it is that you do and into the marketplace. Today, here on Island City, where the beach meets the streets, the Coach V Show is featuring from the 208 Idaho represent brother Brad Dalton. He is a best-selling author, lifelong educator, best self-catalyst speaker, and motivator. Brad Dalton has more than 2 decades of experience serving others, raising leadership lids, and helping others realize the best version of themselves. Brad is also the host of the B.E.S.T Best Self podcast, heard on 5 continents and 60 plus countries globally. Brad's juice is people, specifically people potential. He is leading from the front, serving as a chief encouragement officer to those in the back, and helping those in the middle not just get ahead and or get even, but get ahead are his passions. Welcome to the Coach V Show, Idaho's finest best-selling author and also empowerment coach with my team, brother Brad Dalton. Brad, welcome to the Coach V Show.
I tell you what, I've never done like any kind of Brazilian butt lift workouts. But if I could envision what that would be like, it's going on right now. I am jacked, man.
Oh man, I'm juiced. Thank you so much. I know you're busy. And we are pre-recording this on a Saturday where both of us are doing family, but we're taking the time to really drum up some juice and value that we're going to deploy to the people worldwide. Brother Brad, with no further ado, please, what is your genesis point? And talk to us about what your story is, Brother Brad.
Oh man, hey, thanks for asking. Thanks for letting me be on this platform. Anybody that knows you knows, man, there's a lot of people that like to be in your circle because you're that kind of guy. So you're the kind of guy I describe as you've probably got 50 different people that call you a best friend. You're that kind of dude. So
I appreciate that. You too, brother. Great to have you.
Yes. Well, my story, the more you do these interviews and stuff like that, the more you kind of try to figure that out. I used to just say I'm an accumulation of stories. That's kind of created the man that you see today. And that still holds true. But, when I was younger, I was a low self-esteem guy. I like to tell everybody that's in front of me is that there's really not an experience that I haven't heard or can't relate to. I'm this pasty-looking white guy in the winter of the 208. So you might think that I couldn't possibly know what's happening in the shoes of a person that might have come here from a third world country. But you would be amazed some of the stories that I've listened to, the tears that have been put upon my chest listening to. People coming from a different country with no family and no language, having seen their entire family blown up right in front of them, to, just people that have lived here their entire life. Me, I was a low self-esteem guy early on. I was always a good kid. I was the kid that was going to give the playground duty a hug. That was me. Then I just I started growing up and I had some I learned that it's so important to have incredible people around you. And there was incredible people in my life that steered me straight. I would say that really to get to the sexier part of my story, my ascension, is when I had the opportunity to have a kiddo on the autism spectrum. And, some people might be out there thinking he just used the word opportunity. But opportunities don't happen yesterday, they happen today. And I learned that more in that moment. I describe it as the 15-minute sucker punch to the gut, because my wife and I are both athletes. We're both outgoing. If you saw us at a wedding reception, we'd be dominating the dance floor. We're those kind of people. And we were also career educators. So we had kiddos on the autism spectrum come through, and I'd seen what it looks like for them. I knew what was coming. I knew there was going to be bullying. I knew that there was going to be cyberbullying. I knew that there were going to be people that looked at him funny in the line, in the grocery market, on a plane. I knew that he was going to be looked at differently his whole life just because he's not typical. And so, that really started a crusade for me. Well, so I had those 15 minutes between I left the office, got into my driveway, and by the time I got into my driveway, I'd felt sorry for myself. My wife and I had tears. We were just talk about your playbook getting destroyed, perceived playbook. And I got into the driveway and I just said to myself, just by myself in the car, I'm not going to do this to him. I'm not going to do this to myself. This isn't fair to him. It's not fair to my family. It's not fair to anybody for me to sit here and feel sorry for myself, for me to feel sorry for anything. So what do I got to do moving forward to create the best life possible for him? What have I got to do to create the best life? He's 3 years old. He's got 15 years to go. He's going to graduate in 15 years. How can I make the next 15 years as impactful and positive and opportunistic how can I do that? And so then, he was a 9 to 5 in therapy kid until he got to kindergarten, and he's doing great now. He was student of the month last month. This is a kid that was banging his head on the concrete out of frustration when he was 3. That's where he started and where he is now. But what the whole thing right there taught me was the success road. It taught me the process. It taught me that not everyone's playbook looks the same. It taught me that what's wrong with non-typical? Do we really want to blend in life? We're sitting here thinking that non-typical is a bad thing? Do we really want to blend in as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as a friend, as an athlete, as a teacher? Do we really want to blend in? We don't want to blend in. We want to be abnormally freaking awesome. We all have abnormal awesome running in our veins. We have ridiculousness. We don't have to search for that. It's already there. And so I learned all of this, and it really just it's like steroids or a highlighter got put over it in this whole journey. And, kind of leading up to where I am now, it was about Sorry, this is a long story.
No, this is great. Keep going, please.
Uh, when I really decided, you and I had gotten in touch. I had heard you speak. You and I have had that conversation before. I'm a tough critic on time management, on just people management, on how you teach, not just what you teach, those kind of things. I feel like I'm a good judge of talent on those kind of things. And I saw you speak one time, and I was blown away how incredible it was. And the environment you were in was not an easy one. Most people don't get it done in that environment. So I was really blown away, and it was that time I think we reached out. We'd been at the same church service, had some of the same friends. And then about 18, 24 months ago, when COVID hit, being an educator still, I've never wanted to blend in. And relationships are so important to me. I mean, relationships are the true power grid in life. It's the one thing that we can't let go bankrupt. And I was like, with COVID hitting, like, what am I going to do with my students and clients at the time? How am I going to maintain? Because I'm a face-to-face guy at the time. I was a small-minded thinker. I wasn't reaching out or anything like that. I was only doing enough to just serve and fill that cup up in my life. But I had students from Argentina to Japan to the Netherlands, all going back home, being shipped back home. And I was like, how am I going to impact them? How am I going to still spread this good servanthood leadership? How am I going to do it? And I thought, I'll start a podcast. So I start a podcast, and as you mentioned, I mean, in the first 5 months, it was in 45, 50 countries and 5 continents. And man, do you know this? I mean, if someone's not happy, go out and serve. Go out and serve. I wasn't looking to get on 5 continents. I wasn't even advertising. I wasn't monetizing, nothing. All I was doing was helping preach. How do you become a best version of you? How do you create the best version of your community? How do you create the best version of your family? How do you fill up your cup and invest in you, bet on you? And that's all I was doing. And that takes no special ability to do that. Everyone can serve. And good things started happening. Tony Robbins, one of his former publishers, reached out to me, said, let's write a book. And I wasn't thinking about writing a book, but how do you say no to that crew? So I was like, no doubt. Let's get on it. And man, we produced a bestseller by that spring. And it just the whole thing of, man, I'm selling books to everywhere globally. I'm talking to all these people globally. This feels good. My reach can get bigger. And then that's when you and I started stepping up our conversations. I decided to level up my life. And that's led me here today. I mean, I'm working with Viliami Tuivai, helping fly the V formation, speaking coast to coast in 22, living the good life.
No, that's awesome, brother. And man, I appreciate you being on the team, but I'm featuring you and we're featuring you here on the show because you are very unique. You do have, as your book says, the DNA of a winner. But you also bring that, we both call it the juice of that vibe and that energy that people know this isn't just a masquerade. This is about metamorphosis. In that, I appreciate all that in your introduction. Where is it that you changed your mindset and started to engage that DNA within you that you're just not an employee, but you own your life, you own your brand, and that your brand can bring value to the world?
Well, I have had the absolute opportunity to be an educator my whole life. I was always a good kid. My deal is almost backwards. I've always served. I've always been a good kid. I'm a good son, I think. I think I've always been good to people. But my issue my entire life was that I was so busy serving others that I never invested in myself. And I just I've always loved helping others. And I think that's probably was probably the catalyst for me investing in me. Honestly, that was probably my catalyst, that I saw that I could reach out so many more people. And I was seeing the kind of impact I was having on people. And I knew that to level up in that, I had to level up what's inside me. I had to level up my soulful leadership, V. I mean, soulful leadership starts from the inside out, right? And it's a matter of being. And so you start digging into that. And I really liked who I was becoming. And, there's a lot of great words out there. The why is so important. The what tells you kind of the meat of everything. But man, when you want to start seeing me just get fired up, let's talk about who. Who do you want to become? You want to be a different kind of beast. You don't want to look like everyone else. Who? Because I'm a firm believer that in life, God and life and business and everything gives you who you are. It doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you who you are. Life lets your habits give you life, if that makes sense. You get what your habits, you are who your habits say you are. And I want to be in the habit of becoming the best version of me. I want to be in the habit of being an inside-out thinker, a soulful thinker, a love-based thinker. And those are also the type of people I surround myself with. I mean, you're incredible. But if you weren't an inside-out thinker, if you weren't soulful, if you weren't so just invested in you and invested in the people in your own circle, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because I'm not just going to let anybody inside this. Nobody has permission to get inside my circle or an edge on me without my permission. And so I love helping the tough ones. I mean, I make a living helping tough ones. I love helping those peeps. I really do. But to be inside my direct circle, the people that are going to help me gravitate towards whatever my goals or my identities or my habits are, it's like hiring. I'm hiring culture. I'm hiring character. I'm hiring people that, I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. I want to be around people that are going to help level me up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So subscribing to that, but then also being around, as you see with our empowerment team worldwide, there are some high level folks.
Yeah.
And we're also training some, because all of us are at different places in our journey.
Sure.
But where is in that, do you still trust in yourself that you belong and that you're not intimidated by, because you and I, it's awesome how we have vibed over the past quarter or two, and that there is no intimidation. We're a team and we value one another. We allow each other to be each other. But yes, there is a congruence and alignment in that. Intimidation, do you feel that? How do you approach that? And how can others approach that in their life, leadership, and business, Brad?
Listen, first off, you can look in a row of 10 people and there's only going to be 3 people fully committed to anything. You're going to have a couple people on the fence, and you're going to have people that they're unaware that they're unaware. And so I'm not going to get caught. I'm going to try to level them up, but I'm going to level them up just being the best version of me. I wasn't born to live in someone else's movie. I'm going to twist this plot anytime I want, and I'm not going to worry about them. If I'm being the best version of me, if I'm being my best self, if I'm giving everything I've got, I have nothing to be ashamed of. If I'm prepping myself, if I'm prepping for today and tomorrow, if I'm doing all the right things, I have no reason to worry about what anyone else is thinking of me. And I learned that, you and I, we see this all the time. There's always going to be those people. There's always going to be those people that just don't know that they don't know. They think that, and I'm not saying don't be a 4.0 student or 1,600 on your ACT, or it's not cool to be a millionaire, or have a cool title. All those things are cool.
Right.
But if you don't know what to do with it, that don't mean jack. That's just a number. And I don't treat any of my clients just like a number. I don't treat my students like a number. I don't. You just have to, if you know that you're doing the right things, if you know you're just giving everything you got, if you're being a good human being, it takes no special ability to be kind. If you're doing all those things, I know it's easier said than done. I mean, people that are really perfectionists and people that have self-image issues, I know this isn't as easy as I'm making it sound.
Right.
But what they have to understand is, man, they've got a lot of time left in this world. And you did not wake up to be mediocre.
Right.
You have greatness in your veins. It's running through you as we speak. It is in there. It's in there, and it's just ready to be tapped into. And Coach V, we talk about this. We're not going to live by chance. We're going to live by choice.
By choice. Yes, sir.
And today I'm going to choose to be a rock star. And everyone listening right now, they can make that choice. And it doesn't have to be massive steps. The first step is just the first step. That's it. And it's just one day, it's 1 minute, 1 second, 1 minute. I mean, let's get granular today, V. I mean, it doesn't have to be big time. Let's get cellular. Let's make small changes for 21 days. And, 21, 42, 21 days creates a habit. 42 days creates a life. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
No, absolutely. Be you, do you. I love that. No intimidation. Bring your best. Play the game fair, respectful, and let the cards fall where they may. In that, and when you say granular, I think that is an intimidating thing for most people when they hear this from our industry, particularly, Brad, that, success takes massive action. And then a lot of people just be like, okay, shit, massive action, I'm out. I'm drowning where I am right now, right? I ain't got time for massive action. But I love the way you have said it. It's just take that one step. And in that, we all believe in the personal development space that really is at a high level at helping organizations and people get better and achieve their goals, become more effective and efficient, is really that to understand that it's progressive. It does take massive action, but massive action has less to do with perfection and more to do with consistency. And in that is starting. So maybe that's a great spot for us in terms of this process to help people go, okay, forget the who, what, where, when, how, and why. It's the who. And that who is you. And it's internal. And the other question for the who is not the why, that's what your purpose is, but it's the why, that's why not you.
Amen.
Why not me? So then from there, the first courage and the courageous action is somewhere internally within the mind, spirit, or soul, according to what you think. But there has to be some type of start. Talk about that, the courage to start.
Well, I would say this before we get going, that bigger isn't better, better is better.
Yes, sir.
And self-worth isn't based off achievement. Self-worth is based off effort. And so, again, it takes no special ability to hustle. Everyone's got the hustle juice in them. Everyone's got it. And so to starting it is you have to believe that. And the hardest thing about life sometimes is seeing, most people say you got to believe it to see it. But it's really the other way around. You got to see it to believe it, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at the success road, you can't see the success road. You can't see the end of the success road because there is no end of the success road. Success isn't a destination. And so it's coming to grips and being around people like the V Train and putting the right people around you to help you buy into these concepts. Because if you can't square yourself away with your mindset, if you can't empower yourself, You can't motivate your others. You can't even motivate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take an inventory. I would start, if you're looking like, where do I start? How do I start this? How do I even take the first step? Well, we have to recognize what the what is. The what is the issue. The what is the problem. The what is the meat of everything. What is it I'm trying to achieve? So we look at our habits. Like we said before, you are who your habits say you are. So check out your habits. Start taking an audit. You can take an audit of your attitude. You can take an audit of your reactions. You can, any kind of behaviors. Start taking an audit of those things. And what that does is that helps you start becoming aware. And when you start to become aware, you start to get clarity. And when you have clarity, now you can start really starting to figure out what your why is. And when you get your why, now you have an emotional connection. Now you have a reason when there's resilience, because there's going to be friction and there's going to be inconvenience and there's going to be struggle. But when you have a why, you're going to be more apt to lean into it. Like, V, if I was driving right now, I'm going to ask you this. If I was driving right now and my back of my car started to fishtail left, I'm in snow, it starts to fishtail left. Am I going to turn the steering wheel left or right? You're in California, so this might be a tough one for you.
Yeah, it was a tough one for me when I was living in Boise, right? So you don't adjust opposite. You go with it. Yes?
Yes. So if my back of my car started going cray to the left, I'm going to turn my wheel to the left. And that's just like struggle. If I run away from struggle, if I run away from friction, I'm just going to be doing these circles and out of control, and who knows. But if I lean into it, hey, it still doesn't guarantee me that everything's going to be super cool if I'm in snow or inconvenience or struggle. It doesn't guarantee you jack. But what it does guarantee you is that you have a shot to be your best self. It gives you a shot. And so that's what I would do. I would take an inventory, because it adds self-awareness, adds clarity. It starts to give you a little bit better understanding of, because the obvious answer is generally not the obvious answer. Most people look at a problem and they're right there. They're looking at the end result. But as you know, in almost every phase of life where we're talking about football or financing or personal development or whatever, there's usually a snowball effect. There's layers to this bad boy. And then you lead to your why. And man, life gets good when you got your why.
No doubt. In that inventory, and we're still on this question, so where do we start? So we're starting that response from Brad as take inventory, look within. And then what's the next step from there, Brad?
Well, the next step is you found your why, you found your what. Now you get to start working on your who. Because you found it, now you're keeping track of this, and we've already mentioned it. It's one of your staples. It's a fantastic one. I use it every day now. That if you can figure out your why, now you start tracking. You track it every single day. So I would encourage everybody to have a calendar or create a spreadsheet or some sort of grid, and you just mark an X. Each day you accomplish that task, that habit. You did it. Doesn't matter whether you did it 1 time or 50 times. You did it. All right. And then you're trying to do it 2 days in a row and 3 days in a row. And your ultimate goal is to do 21 days in a row.
That's right.
Now, if you don't get it 21 days in a row, it's cool. It's cool. You're not starting over. You just give yourself some grace, still give yourself a high five. You still have the permission to roll out of bed, let your toes touch the floor, and feel gratitude for living this day and having an opportunity to slay this day. It's totally cool. But you're going to have to keep doing that until you can get 21 days in a row. But once you get 21 days in a row, it starts becoming ingrained in who you are. And V, have you ever read the book Talent Code?
Say that again.
Talent Code?
No, I have not watched.
You'll love it.
Or read it.
You'll love it. You'll love it. It's getting a little sciencey, but if we have these nerve fibers, and for those of you that are watching, I'm holding and those of you can't see us, I got a pencil right in front of me. If this pencil was a nerve fiber, every time we have a negative thought or a positive thought, we wrap that nerve fiber. It's called myelin. And you wrap it around it. Let's say it's negative. Let's start with negative. You wrap it around that one time, and then you have that negative thought. It could be about a person. It could be about your job. Could be about your boss. Could be about your coach. Could be about anything. Something negative. Well, you keep having that thought, and what you're doing is you're mummifying that nerve fiber with negative stuff. And here's the thing, man. It never goes away. You'll never, ever, ever get rid of it. The only thing that can save you is by creating positive thoughts, saying yes to yourself, betting on yourself, investing in yourself, empowering yourself over and over and over, and eventually you have the ability to re-mummify it. So again, we have the choice. We have the choice. And these aren't theories. These aren't thoughts. These are facts. It is a fact that you could rectify your life today if you choose.
That's right. So then now you're going to tie that into 21, and you say the term 21 to how many days, Brad?
21 days to create a life, 42 days. No, 21 days to create a habit, 42 days to create a life.
Yes, sir. And what does that mean to you? And explain what that is. Yeah.
Well, the skinny there, man, is we're not searching for Ferraris in life. We're searching for a lifestyle. Everyone, the people with their lens in the wrong place are searching for things. We're searching for a lifestyle. And, man, once you start creating a lifestyle, I mean, now you start to get to really design your life. I mean, when it's become who you are, you don't even have to think about this anymore. It just oozes. I mean, you don't sweat, you leak awesome. Just like without even thinking about it. It's part of who you are. It's your soul. I mean, it's in your soul now. So the cool thing is moving forward, when you start to become someone that you yourself like to look at in the mirror, when you start to be proud of your accomplishments, there's nothing wrong with being proud of your accomplishments. When you start to feel like you have the ability to serve people, and we all can, but not everyone believes that. Not everyone feels they're worthy, even though you are. We're all worthy. You are enough. You could start creating a schedule. I mean, you start designing your family vacations. You start making more money. I mean, there's stats out there. V, you probably know more stats than I do on this stuff, but man, as you start to become a different kind of beast, as you start believing, as you start becoming more empowered, I mean, your wages go up. Your goals that you set start getting accomplished. You retain all the good stuff in life. You start retaining it more. And I read a stat, kind of rabbit trailing here, but I read a stat today by that came out from Forbes, where only 8% of the 2022 goals that people are setting right now, or January 1st, are going to be accomplished. 8%. How many of those people are following 2142? How many of those people are looking at their goals as a destination? I mean, how many people are thinking of their goals as a success isn't a destination. Success is the road. It is the road. And I'm circling back, but if we would create more to-be lists and less to-do lists, if we were more growth conscious and less goal conscious, how many of us would finish our goals? I mean, how many of us would become the kind of beast and animal and success story and family person and whatever, if we focus more on being, because that's what soulful leadership is. It's a sense of being. And who doesn't want to be better at the soul, better at the core? But everyone's always so focused on goals. And goals are good. Don't get me wrong. We got to have goals. Don't get me wrong on that. But you don't get to your goals focusing on your goals. You get to your goals focusing on who do you want to become. Understanding what your what is. Understanding what your why is. Your to-be list.
No, I love that to-be list. I love that. In that, and you've already alluded to this by, your overall transformation in your lifestyle with you and your wife, with your son being on the autism spectrum. How does that? Um, how is it that uh, everything that is our struggle and our success, that's the journey. And so many people distinguish that there's only one road or the other, which, at least in my experience, Brad, you tell me, you and your wife's experience, both with the autism aspect of how the challenges of that are, but how the struggles and the successes are really life's paths.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is really the journey. And the people that are thinking that you're either on track or off track, but those are two different ones.
Right.
Your thoughts on that? Your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Man, I really appreciate you asking. I do love talking about this. Yeah, as you know, I mean the success road is one road. Friction, success, you name it. It's the same. It's the same road. We're all on the same road. Some of us are traveling a little slower than others. Some of us are investing in others. Some of us aren't. Some of us are investing in ourselves. Some of us aren't. And we don't all start at the same spot.
Right.
So that
Real talk.
that's you know what I mean. I mean
Real talk. Yep.
the thing that I've learned is we've gotta one, meet ourselves where we're at, and two, with our kiddo on the spectrum. And but this is our kid on the spectrum, but I mean we could talk about your incredible kids too. You could talk about someone in Bangladesh right now. Anyone's kids. They're all different. They all have their own playbook. No two are the same. And I kind of lost train of thought there.
You're just talking about our road,
Oh,
and then every kid
there you
has some
go.
type of challenge, right?
Right. Yeah, we just got to meet them where they're at. I
Oh, I
mean,
love that.
you know what I mean? You just got to meet them where they're at. I mean, that's the beauty of coaching. Whether it be on the gridiron or personal development, the best part, man, is the growth part. And you really learn that I've learned it, me personally, I've learned it as a parent, but I've really, really learned to appreciate it with a kiddo on the spectrum. I can't, almost want to get emotional just talking about it. It's,
Right.
it's just, him specifically where he started. He's doing really well right now. But like I alluded to at the front end, I'll just be vulnerable and share it. I mean, he was the kid in the grocery market who would literally bang his head on the concrete, on the floor when he was overstimulated. He wasn't necessarily mad. Kids on the spectrum get overstimulated. He had to wear headphones in assemblies. He ate in the detention center in junior high because the cafeteria was too loud. I've had season tickets to Boise State football games almost my entire life, all but 2 years. And he's only been to one game because the noise hurts his ears. And who would have thought you would have had to hire a play therapist for your kid? I was a kid that got home, changed into different clothes. I went to the park across the street and we played 2-on-2, whatever, until it was time to eat. That was my lifestyle as a kid. He was never going to live that. And so just going from that to, other stories that I probably won't share, but he just, and then, last fall, there's another tough thing, man. Boy, I'm just letting it out here. He's never had a friend his entire life. No sleepovers. We haven't had anybody at our house. We've, I've never. And his best friend was his brother. His brother went to college this fall.
Mm-hmm.
So his only friends were Cooper's friend, our oldest. And so he was left going into his first year of high school with his best friend gone, his brother gone. It was a rough start, man. But uh, bringing it full circle, he gets Student of the Month last month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a great example of it doesn't matter where you're at. You got to meet yourself where you're at. We all have different starting points. Who knows what our lids are, but I know that we can raise our lids and we can raise the lids of others. He, without even trying, has raised my leadership lid. He's made people around him better and he doesn't even know it. But that's life too. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, coach, you go into a grocery market today and you're checking out, and I think this is probably just the kind of guy you are. You probably smile at him. You might even see the name tag on there. Felicia, have a great day. Or,
Yeah.
hey, thanks, Felicia. Or maybe even start small talk while you're there getting your checkout. Well, it's not just about Felicia. There was a 7-year-old that just saw you do that.
Right.
There was another adult that just saw you do that. I mean, you're paying it forward and you don't even know you're paying it forward. You don't have to be on the spectrum to do that. We all have that ability, and that's why I always say it takes no special ability to be kind, and you can be positive. Who doesn't want positive in their circle? I mean,
Mm.
positive. I call that take-home value.
Right.
I'm looking I'm looking to go back to work if I know it's going to be a positive experience. If I'm going to be surrounded by a bunch of negative people, destructive energy vampires, I
Mm.
want no part of that. But man, every time I have a conversation with you, bam, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing my students and my clients and the people. I cannot wait to be in a position of impact. And I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but that's called creating your own culture too. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you create the culture that you want to be around. You have that ability as a hiring. You have that ability as a parent. You have that ability as an educator, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur. The moment you meet someone, you're having qualifying calls for whatever business you're in, or you're a real estate agent, or you're having some sort of gathering where it could potentially monetize or there could be impact. Man, the moment those people step in to the Zoom, to the building, to the office, you're building culture,
Mm.
because culture is king. If your culture sucks, your environment sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And a positive culture is one that everyone wants to come around. People want to be around that. And I guess, again, coming full circle, my little man has really helped me recognize all these things. Sometimes it's been really difficult. There's been moments where I've said to myself, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know what to do
Mm.
next. I mean, just laying it out there. I feel like I'm one of the most positive guys generally. I feel like I'm a positive guy. And I've even gotten, so for those you parents or workers or whatever bosses out there, where you're getting to the point where I don't know if I can do this. You can and you will.
Mm.
You can and you will, because it's in your veins. It's running inside you. You were built for greatness. You were
Mm.
built to win. And for that reason, you're going to keep plugging and you're going to do what you got to do. I mean, sometimes you do got to cut the cord because they don't fit your culture. They don't fit what you're looking for. And that doesn't make them a crummy person. They're just not a good fit. So,
Right.
yeah.
No, I love that. And in that, one of the main questions I get when I'm on podcasts or somebody's interviewing me on TV or radio, they're always talking about that. Like, V, I've been around you in person. I've been around you in a Zoom. Like, what is this source of like your joy and your positivity? And I think for anybody that's around me, they may mistaken, because I cuss so much, is that that's not because of my faith. I am so positive, and I think there's like just a 1A and a next 1A. One is because I am so faithful. Um, and then two is because I have such a myriad of experiences of negativities that now at 46, it just makes the sunny days more sunny. And not all of those were because of my circumstances or because of critics, haters, or
Right.
other people. A lot of times it was just because of my own self-sabotage, and the way that it is that I uh, gravitated to and made wrong choices and all those things. But
Right.
the one thing that I do, because one of my main quotes is life is struggle, struggle is life, misery is optional, is that though I will not make the same mistake again. And people will often say, Brad, right? They were like, man, if I had to do it over again, I would do it the same. I'm like, not me.
No.
My ass,
No.
I don't think I could make it if I did it and it happened like that again. But what it is that I do value from those negative experiences, whether it is being overlooked, I have been overlooked, skipped for opportunities. I have been demoted. I have been fired. I have self-sabotaged my own um, opportunities. Is that now people are like, man, you're going to go speak at that elementary school for that amount of money? And I'm like, hell yeah, I am. I couldn't get a free gig if it was going out of style back in 2011. I mean, that makes me appreciate that if I'm not working on this day and somebody wants to hire me, hell yeah, I'm going to go and speak at that elementary school, or because those opportunities become really what they are in full awareness and appreciation when you've never been given an opportunity. Yeah. When you've always had to chase opportunity. In that, just talk about how the negatives and the issues that you face and the challenges both within your career. I mean, being a teacher these days with these so-called millennials, and I don't blame millennials. I actually blame the parents and the adults that train the millennials to be millennials. Sure. I mean, but that's another discussion. But with all of the challenges, Brad, don't those challenges, those failures, setbacks, the haters, the critics, your own self-doubt, does that not make the sunny days and us to be more especially at my age?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Your thoughts on that, Brad?
Oh, amen to all of that. Yeah, I still am an educator. I love it too much to get rid of it. Just the opportunity to have an impact on young people's lives 5 days a week, guaranteed. I love it. I love it. It's crazy how it happened for me. I originally just wanted to be a college baseball coach, so I had to have some sort of degree. So I went the teaching route, and then along the way, everything flip flopped. It's crazy how it happened, but it is tough to be an educator right now. They're fried. There's a lot of victimitis going on out there. There's a lot of negativity, frankly. There's a lot of they don't feel, what's the word? They don't feel appreciated. They don't want to feel appreciated, and you're surrounded by it. So it's never been more challenging. Most of them are still working their butts off for kids. They're still getting after it, for sure. But a lot of them, they're just putting up that front. They're kind of like, have you ever heard the kind of rabbit trail in here? Have you ever heard the coffee bean?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're the egg.
The egg, the potato, and the coffee bean. Yes.
Yeah, and I describe it as the ice cube, the egg, and the coffee bean. And for those that don't know that, just real quick, you got a boiling pot of hot water. The hot water is adversity, struggle, inconvenience, all that jazz. And if you were to put an ice cube into that hot water, it melts. and you don't want to be someone that melts when things get tough. And then
Mm.
you've got the egg. The egg, if you look at the egg when it's boiling, just through the hot water, everything looks cool. Like it's still in relatively the same shape, somewhat same color, all that stuff looks cool. But what you don't realize is that the egg is hardening on the inside.
Mm.
It's hardening on the inside, and you can't see that. And that's what a lot of healthcare workers, a lot of teachers, there's a lot of people out there that are the egg right now. The coffee bean is what you want to be. The coffee bean, when you put a coffee bean in hot water, man, everything gets better. I mean, V, I know you love your coffee, brother. And man, you put that coffee bean in there. And the cool thing about the coffee bean is that one bean changes the entire dynamic. Like the water tastes better. If you like coffee, you think it smells better. Everything gets better. That's what you want to be, and that's what ultimately all these people, you, me, and we all want to be the coffee bean, but there's a ton of people out there that are the egg right now. And I would just urge everyone, I know I'm kind of rambling here, but I would just urge everybody to do something about it. This is no way to live, man. You're not operated by a clock in life. You're operating by the desire to be the best version of you tomorrow. And do something about it. Talk to somebody. Go get coached. Coaches get coached. If Tom Brady has a coach, and Tiger Woods has a coach, and Viliami Tuvai has a coach, rock stars, right?
Yes, sir.
Who am I to not have a freaking coach? If we got these people, the best get it. Those who get it, get it. And I would just urge, there's no fun being an egg. It's no fun being an egg, man. This life's supposed to be fun. Parenting's supposed to be fun. If you're in a workforce where you're not having fun, let's do something about it. Find something that you're great at. Find something that drives you. Find something that you're passionate about. There's no reason. This mission that I'm on, this personal development mission and coaching and doing what you and I are doing together, V, this is, though I meet those three things. It drives me. I have a chance to be great at it, and I'm passionate about it. Everyone can get that.
No, that's awesome. In that, B-Dog, we're on a time restriction here. So from here on out, let's be precise. Okay. Let's take a minute and so in that, take a minute to a minute and a half. What is Brad Dalton's message to the world?
Oh, invest in you. The best investment you will ever make in life is the one you make in yourself. You don't need anyone's permission to be your best self. Your best self will never waste your time. And your best self is waiting. Like it's ready to rock. It's saying, hey, dude, I'm ready for you to put your foot on the gas whenever you are. And you do that and everything gets better. Because when you're the best version of you, you're also serving. And when you serve, you're happy. You find people that aren't happy in life, they're probably not serving. All right. So I don't even need 90 seconds. I'm just going to tell you people right now, don't base your self-worth off achievements. Achievement, self-worth is commitment to you. And taking it one last step further, commitment's not 50-50, it's 100-100. And commitment is staying true to your word long after the mood in which you said it in has passed. So be committed to you, be committed to the best version of you, and your life is going to get so good.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. I love that. Invest in you. Oh, I love that. Talk about anything that you'd like to promote. So I would love for you to share at this time. How do people hire you? How do they get a hold of you? How do we buy your book? If they want to reach out to you, how do they connect? And what is the current project that you're working on, please?
Got a couple things I'm rocking. One, I'm with Coach V, and I know this isn't about him, but it's one of the things I'm doing, so I'm just going to get it in there, VT. I jumped on with Big Dog, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. I'm an MVT. I mean, I have had to learn what my most vital tasks are. I was the chronic multitasker, way too many things going on. And I started getting into this big cat, and I've really streamlined the awesome in my life. And that's one of the things that I would encourage everybody to do. I'm not just saying this. I'm not going to get any kickback off this call right here. So it's coming straight from my heart. If you want to become a better version of you, I would reach out to myself. You can get me at hello@braddaltongroup.com, or I would reach out to Coach V, and we'll set you up. And we're not going to go out selling you something right off the bat. We're just going to have a little talk and a relationship and see where you're at in the world, and see how we can support you and all that. And if it goes further than that, it goes further than that. If it's not, we'll still do everything we can to help you. And that program is incredible. I've seen people like literally crying coming off these calls. They've been so moved. I'm not lying. I've been on multiple calls where people are so moved. And then I get emails and texts that I haven't even shared with you, Coach, of people that are, guys, it's not like these people aren't making money. We've got millionaires. We've got people that are owning companies and just slaying it. We've got public educators that are doing phenomenal things on these calls. I mean, and they're just blown away. So that's one thing that's going on. I'm also going to be speaking coast to coast. I haven't got my entire schedule mapped out yet. So if you've been listening in this little awesome little window here in the last hour or so, and you think that I have the juice for you, then you can get a hold of me also at hello@braddaltongroup.com. I would love my juice is people potential, and impact. So I would be totally down with having that conversation. You can I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on Instagram, best_self-you. I've been told I need to do some TikTok, Coach V. So
Get it.
Somehow I'm getting that. And those are the best ways to get a hold. Those are the things I'm most excited about. And the book, if you type in Brad Dalton, DNA of a Winner on Amazon, it'll pop right up. It's for everybody. I know I'm supposed to niche this bad boy up, but the truth is you could be an educator, you could be a hospital official, you could be anything. I mean, credit unions, you name it, entrepreneurs. I've had people as young as 13 years old buy it. I've had families buy it so they can read it together. So it's for everybody because the best self doesn't discriminate. The best self is universal. We can all be the best version of us.
Very good. Man, we're jamming. I love it. That'll give us some time for the hot seat. And then lastly, just in terms of this segment, for all of you that are just tuning in, you're tuning in with the best-selling author of DNA of a Winner, my brother Brad Dalton. We are on a similar project, but he also has his own platform where he's speaking nationwide. So please reach out to him. In that, we're on the final phase of just this segment is, who are your shout outs, Brother Dalton? Who would you love to shout out?
Oh, man. Shout out to my wife that's far cooler than I am. Shout out to all the other people in there that look as Caucasian as I do when I'm next to Coach V. I mean, there's three for sure things in life: death, taxes, and every time I'm on a call with V, I'm extremely Caucasian. But a shout out, I haven't talked about my oldest son a lot, Cooper.
Yeah, he was home for the holidays, huh?
Yeah. Oh man, you just wait, dude. Your kid leaves and I'm so proud of him, but damn, that's tough. Going to see him, they have their opening doubleheader. He's playing college baseball, opening doubleheader over President's Day weekend. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
I got a couple other real quick. One, all educators out there, keep plugging. Healthcare workers, I love you. I
Uh,
appreciate you. I appreciate you. I know you don't hear it enough.
mm,
You don't hear it enough, but you are appreciated. And man, there are people out there that are just thinking, God, thank God for you. You are a blessing. So just know that. I'd also like to give out shout out to my sister. We this show isn't long enough to go into all my family, but my sister, she's had a rough go. She was a runaway. She didn't get her high school degree. She got pregnant twice before 18. Got into all the wrong things, but today she's slaying it.
that's awesome.
Got her GED. The best grandma on the planet. Uh, anyway, I'll switch there. I got all, dude. I could give shout outs all day. I'm so thankful. I'm thankful that my feet are on the ground right here. So
Sir.
yeah.
No, that's awesome. So thank you for that. So we're now on the hot seat where I'm going to put a couple of questions to Brother Brad Dalton. Uh, he is the best-selling author of DNA of a Winner and speaks nationwide. His podcasts are in countries all over the world. I even heard out in the outer planets outside of our solar system, they're starting to check him out. So, yeah. So let's talk about here. Here's the thing about amazing people: they really don't have anyone behind them, especially their spouses. And people often say that, behind every great man is a great woman. I haven't experienced that. I've noticed that every high level billionaire, millionaire, 100,000aire, quarter thousandaire, quarter million thousandaire, and highly successful person for government agencies, national agencies, county, city officials, uh, everybody has somebody right next to them. How important, because you say that all the time, and I can't wait to get the wobble and do some line dancing with Martha and I and you and your wife.
Oh,
Man, I can't wait
lay
because
it.
we're gonna have some fun. But in that, talk about how important it is to make sure that you're not casual on your romantic relationships and that you make sure, because your spouse, your significant other, however you choose to define that, is huge in terms of not only your success, Brad, but your ability to also experience joy, peace, happiness, and fulfillment and love in life. Your
Oh,
thoughts,
well,
Brad?
man, you don't live a full life if your relationship is not strong. I mean, it takes its toll on everything. And I
Oh,
mean, talk about stress. Stress. How can you be your best self anywhere if you're not great at home? I will say
mm-hmm.
this: uh, you can't treat your relationships like a hobby.
Ooh,
You know what I mean? You can't create the best life, the life that you're looking to live, if you're treating your marriage or partnership or relationships, or you're being a father or whatever, if you're treating it like a hobby. You can't shoot from the hip. We talk a lot of business and personal development and all this stuff, but like you're kind of getting at, like, we're talking about all this stuff, but it's so easy to get married to the wrong things.
ooh,
You know what I mean? It's so hard. It's so easy to like get your lens and your eyes caught in the wrong place and you completely miss life. I see
mm,
that all the time. I see that, you probably see that all the time. People don't have their lens in the right place. So that would be, yeah. I mean, that's the advice I'd give, and that's the life I try to lead. I try to always make sure I compliment my wife. On every single call, I think you've probably 100% of our calls, she's one of the first things I talk about.
yeah, absolutely. In that, I'm going to leave a little bit more time instead of getting to a second, third, or fourth question for Brad to have a final. But I do want to thank you, Brad, for coming on the show. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm so grateful. I started this show back 2020, and there's been a lot of challenges since. I mean, I haven't even been in studio because of COVID in years, literally. And so, for everybody who tunes in, either on the airwaves out of Dash Radio from Hollywood, California, or on Facebook Live, or on the YouTube channel, or on the podcast that releases on Tuesdays, I'm just so grateful to make it here to 2022. This is the first show of the year, and to feature someone like Brad Dalton, who's bringing this vibe, this energy. Man, I could just sit back and just allow somebody to bring that juice while I just, kind of guide this ship. In that, thank you all for tuning in, and thank you to Brad for tuning in as well. Brad, what's your final for the Coach V show?
Man, I would just, there's still a lot of noise in the world,
Uh,
lot of negativity, and I would just encourage all of us to be forward-minded. Be
mm,
forward-minded. One, because opportunities don't happen yesterday, they happen today.
mm-hmm,
And two, uh, being forward-minded, it clears space for growth. And the growing part is the fun part.
mm.
Life should be serious fun. And so invest in you, be forward minded, be positive, be a culture creator, be a culture shifter, and you make it a great day.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that. Thank you to Brad Dalton. He is the best-selling author of DNA of a Winner, which you could just Google, or you could go on to Amazon and you could pick up that book there. If you have any issues of getting a hold of Brad to book him for any speaking engagements or just to connect with him, it would be my pleasure and that of my staff to connect you. Thank you so much again, Brad, for coming on. And it is for so many different reasons that people tap into this show. We just had a client who signed on, who's watched every single episode, and he's from Hawaii. Shout out to Tawa. He just subscribed to the Genesis group that launched this past month. But in that, the reason why we tune into shows like this, or that you tune into podcasts like the Best Self podcast, or to anything it is that Brad, or people that are always trying to help you level up, this is the deal, right? So that not only do you achieve your success, but you could translate that success into joy, peace, happiness, fulfillment, love, and family time. And that you listen to this show, yeah, it might be partly for us, but so that you can become the best you that you can be. In that, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see everybody next Motivation Monday, February. Bring it on. It is Love Month. Thank you so much for everybody for tuning in, and to Brother Brad again for coming on the Coach V show and lending us his time. Shout out to his amazing wife and his two awesome sons. 208 area, stand up. You got a proud thing to have in the Brother Brad Dalton. We will see you next time on the Coach V show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise. From your boy Brad Dalton, your boy Viliami Tuivai. Until next time, peace.